So I have Adobe Dimension opened up here, and we're going to create our first photorealistic rendering here in this tutorial. So what you're going to do is we're going to first go up here and just click Create New. Okay, and this is going to open up a new sort of workspace here for Adobe Dimensions. Okay, so what this lets us do is we'll be able to put some 3D designs in here, or 3D models, and we'll be able to model or make them look like what they would in real life. Okay, so we're going to add some materials to them, some textures, a little background, things like that. So just as we're navigating here, there's a couple things you can see. So on the right side here, this tells you basically how big your canvas is. Okay, you can change this however you want. This is just whatever size image it's going to end up making. Okay, so it's kind of like Photoshop your canvas size, same exact thing. You can change the units of it right here. If you want to work in inches instead, you can do that. Pixels, centimeters, whatever thing you want there. Okay, so that's over here. That's just their canvas. Then over here on the left, okay, this is what we call like our assets. Okay, so these are things that we can put in. So there's 4 different categories here. The first one over here is models. So there's some 3D models that are already loaded in. Eventually, we're going to load in our own 3D models, but these are the ones that come with the program. If you go one more over, these are materials. If I click it, oops. If I click materials, here's all the different materials here. Okay, so there's like ice, there's brass, there's wood, there's metals, there's plastics, all kinds of different things. And if we keep going, we have different lights, okay, which we're not going to really mess with the lighting too much right now. We're going to mess with mostly the 3D models, the materials, and then we'll also give it some backgrounds. Okay, so that's this fourth one, is just images, okay, which we'll use images mostly as like backgrounds, or we'll upload our own images to do like a logo on something. Okay, and so you can filter these out. If I click this, it's going to make that go away. Or here they all are like this. Okay, so if we just keep scrolling down, they're all there. So I just want to see the 3D models now. Over here on the far left, here's all your different tools. Okay, the big ones we'll use is right here, the select tool. So that'll let us like click and pick our 3D models. Then to like navigate this area, a couple things you can do. So, for example, I can rotate my view. If I do like a 2-finger click on the trackpad, that kind of rotates our view a little bit to kind of move around. If you want to, we'd say like pan, okay, you can click this tool down here, and that lets you move it like left, right, up, and down, okay? The other way of getting to that is if you have the select tool chosen, if you hold down the space bar and click, that'll also let you move around. Okay, so that's just some navigation. So let's go ahead and we're going to just pick either one 3D model or a couple to place in here. So you can kind of scroll through here and see, and you can drop as many of these as you want in there. I'm going to choose, I like this coffee cup. So I'm going to just click it. Okay, and you can see if you click it, it'll place it in there for you. You can always come over here. If you click, you can drag it into the model. Okay. See, that put a water bottle in there. Okay, if you want to get rid of one of the models, so like let's say I don't want this water bottle, I'm going to click it and then click delete. Okay, once you have a 3D model in here, you'll see up in the top, this is the scene. So basically this is like what all is in here. So we have environment, the camera, and then now you see there's a coffee cup. So if I click this coffee cup, we can see how many parts are to it. So there's a cup, the actual, piece there, and then there's a lid. Okay, so that means that we can choose 2 different materials or patterns for this. Okay, so what we're going to do now that we have a 3D model in here is I'm going to go to the next asset over here. We're going to go to materials. Okay, and from here we can pick what we want this to basically look like. Okay, so there's all kinds of different materials in here that we can choose from. Okay, and you can pick whatever you want. And how we apply these, let's say I want, this one says I think cardboard. So how we apply them is I can just click it and drag it onto which section I want it to be on. So like, I want it to be on the cup part here. Okay, now it's going to apply that material. Okay, so this one I chose a cardboard. You could choose any of these different things here. This one, and then if you notice over here now, whoops, that is now walnut wood. Let's go back to cardboard here. Oops. Okay. That one I actually applied to the lid. Okay, so if you actually apply it there, that's okay. We just can do one. So like, let's say, maybe I want the lid to be a plastic. So from here, we might say, hey, here's a plastic. So I'm going to click and drag it to the lid. And now there's a plastic top. Okay. You can change now. Over here, there's some properties. I can change what color that plastic is right here. I can change the color of it if I want it to be like maybe a pink or a gray or a white, whatever I want. You can change how like shiny or how much it glows. There's all kinds of properties you can play around with on that. Okay. I'm just going to keep it just like that. Okay, so there's our coffee cup. What I'm going to do is, let's say, we want to put a logo on this. Okay, what we can do is if you have a logo, either a JPEG or a PNG on your computer, in a folder, what we can do is I've got a geese logo right here. Is we can actually, if you have this pulled up, if I want to apply a logo, let's say to the cup part of this, I can click this file and drag it over here onto where I want to put it at. Okay, right now I accidentally have the lid selected, so I'm going to undo that. Oops, there we go. So now it's on the actual base. So there's this logo. So if you make some Photoshop or a picture that you on here, picture on there, and you can move where you want. Okay, I can move it like that. Click this little circle up here to run. I want. Say we want to say geese. Okay. So logo. And what do now? Okay, we've got a model, we've got some materials on there. We're going to give this a background now. Okay, so that's this last little tab. Okay, so there's all kinds of backgrounds. And again, how we do this is we're just going to click and drag. So let's say, maybe you just want a colored background like this. Okay, and that'd be okay. Or maybe you want like a more realistic background, like there's this table right here. If I click it, now there's a table in the background. Okay. Now, if you do something like those, where it's got like a more complex background like this, we need to make sure our angle matches up. Okay. So we could do that manually by moving around. Or what's a little easier is you'll notice on the right now, under actions, you may have to click and open that up. Okay. There's this match image button. So I'm going to click that, and it's going to do most of the work for us. I'm going to click Match Image, and we're going to give it a second to think. And basically what it's going to do is it's going to adjust the lighting and the angle of the camera to match that background. Okay? So again, you only need to do this if your background has stuff in it. If I was doing one of these like colored backgrounds, you wouldn't really need to do this. So I'm going to click OK. And you'll see now, it's kind of loading. It changed my camera angle already. And now it's going to adjust some of the lighting to match the picture in the background. There. Okay? So, you have to be careful that you don't change your angle now, because now it's all in the position we want. So, if you like how this looks, okay, you like how much it's zoomed in, you like the angle, we're ready to go ahead and do what we call rendering. Okay? Now, this is just a preview right now, so it's a little lower quality. So we're ready to get a high quality picture out of this. So what I'm going to do is click on the top, and there's this box that says Show, Hide, Render Preview. Okay, if you want to see what it's going to look like, we can click that. It's going to give you a little bit of a preview of what this looks like. Okay, and it takes a minute to load. Okay, so if you want to see what it looks like before we actually do the rendering, you can click that. It's going to give us a little preview here. Okay, and if we like how it looks, I'm going to unclick that so my computer runs a little faster. We can come up here, and there's a button that says Render. I'm I'm going to click it. And now this lets us get a high quality picture from that. So over here, I'm going to give this a name. I'm going to call it Geese a Cup. Okay, you can choose how high or low quality you want this to be. I'm going to choose, like, let's say a medium. And you can choose what format you want this in. Do you want a Photoshop file or do you want like a PNG? I'm going to choose a PNG for right now. And then where you want to save it. And then once you're ready, we click render. And this is where now it's going to take a little bit of time because your computer is basically solving a whole bunch of tiny equations. Okay? So it's rendering this. So slowly it's going to kind of get less pixelated here as it's figuring out where all the lighting goes, anything like that. So it's going to keep going. You won't want to like exit out or anything. It'll give you an estimate of how long it takes. Okay? So this is how we get it to look like it's actually like a real photo. So it's matching all that lighting, all the camera angles, all of that stuff up for you to make a high quality image here. Okay, and then once that's done, you'll have your picture saved in that location, and then that's your first photorealistic rendering. Okay, so you can always change the backgrounds. You'll want to save your file too once this is done. You'll want to save this actual Adobe Dimension file by coming up here and saying File, and then you'll go to Save As. Okay? Because this is just one, like a compressed version of the file. It's only one view. If you want to save the 3D information, you've got to actually save the Adobe Dimension file here. Okay? But that's basically how we do a rendering. This will keep going right here. Usually takes a minute or two before it's fully rendered the whole thing. But that's how we use Adobe Dimension.